bridge your knowledge to success.
Go. Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of Adhitya Talks. And today we have Mr. Bharat Balasubramanian. And he's a very great person who has a very great background and story. He's going to share his experience with us today. And it's going to be a very good, great discussion. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you, Aditya.
Yes. So, for the benefit of our viewers, can you tell us about yourself, your background, how you came to this point in your life?
I grew up in Bombay, Mumbai, in the Churchgate area. My passion was always cars, trains, planes, anything that moved. And from a very young age, I followed this technology. We had an old Studebaker, that's one of the American brands, and I used to repair it inside out. I knew everything about the car. So at a very young age, I had decided I was going to make a career in one of these three paths, either aeronautics or in railroad or in automotive technology. I joined IIT Bombay in 1968 and passed out in 1973. And by that time, I was sure I wanted to go to Mercedes-Benz, make automotive engineering my primary work passion, and make railroading my primary hobby. And which today, 55 years down the line, I'm still following both. So when I left IIT, I spent 6 months learning intensive German. First 2 months at Max Muller Bhavan in Mumbai, and then 4 months in Max Muller Bhavan residency in Pune.
Yes.
And in April 21st, 1974, I left for Germany and never looked back. And Germany and Mercedes-Benz R&D was just the way I imagined. Tremendous knowledge of the engineers at all levels, tremendous knowledge of the professors in applied engineering, and all this led to me staying there for 38 years.
Oh.
After 38 years, I retired, and that was in 2012. I had a lot of energy left, and there was an opportunity that came up that I come to the US. And this opportunity I picked up and joined the University of Alabama. That is very close to the Mercedes plant here in Tuscaloosa, where we manufacture all the SUVs, the GLE and the GLS worldwide. I came here for 3 years, and now I am on to my 13th year. So life has been good, and life has been very successful in the areas we'll be discussing today on connected, automated, and electric cars.
Okay. So that's really interesting. You have done and contributed a lot to the field, and I think today we are going to have a very great discussion. And your passion and your experience shows. So it's an honor to interview you today. I'm going to learn a lot personally, and same for my viewers. So can you share a memorable moment from your early days which shaped your path in this field and made you decide that I want to go into this field in automotive engineering?
That was, for 3 years from 1963 to 66, when I was a 12-year-old boy, my father was transferred to Kolkata today, and there I used to go and read magazines at the British Council Library. And they had both Road and Track and Track and Driver and other automotive magazines, and they were all in praise of Mercedes-Benz and their technology. So that really fired my passion, where at the age of 13, I'd already decided I wanted to go to Mercedes-Benz in Germany. I wanted to learn from the best and become one of the best. So that was a turning point in my life, after which I never looked back.
Okay, so basically, your father and you went to Calcutta and saw all these you read the magazines and you understood that the level of perfection abroad that was created by Mercedes was something that you wanted to achieve, see, and accomplish for yourself as well. So that's really interesting. After working in so many continents and doing so much across different careers, different in different companies and in different places, what have you learned about success as a whole?
Aditya, there are different roads to success. And let me say the 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 cultural significance of the country which which influences all of us in our successful path. If you look at the Germans and the German engineering, they are on to perfection from the engineering side. So they want the most number of innovations. That's why most of the luxury brands are from Germany. It's Mercedes, BMW, Audi. And this entire mentality permeates through German society. So any company you look at, whether it's a chemical or a transportation or an automotive, wherever, they are all engineering driven to perfection. So that's the R&D part. If you look at Japan, Japan is more culturally driven by manufacturing excellence. And that's why you see Toyota, Honda, etc., they have a tremendous manufacturing excellence. And the entire industry, regardless of which industry you take, wants to have manufacturing excellence and quality. The United States is driven by another thing, that is by marketing and sales. So marketing and sales permeates all business decisions in the automotive companies in the United States. And they are happy to be just fast followers of technology and innovations. So that said, I think there are multiple roads to success. And the path we choose is very dependent on how we have been influenced as young people in our schools, in our colleges, and later on if we go abroad into our graduate studies. That said, I would like to make one very fundamental difference between the German and the American model. German engineers are very precision oriented, want high quality, high level of innovation in their products, and follow processes closely. Americans are more open to follow ideas which we in the rest of the world think it's crazy. Americans are also not worried about failure. They'll learn how to get up. And when I say Americans, I mean American entrepreneurs.
Yes.
They learn how to manage a failure and move on. For this reason, you see in the American model the tremendous innovations that they generate, especially on the software side. And if you look at some of the top products in the world, which are total monopolies, which comes from the American mentality of going for really crazy stuff and being successful. Google search, Microsoft Windows, Microsoft Office, Intel, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. These are all one of a kind. Or in the hardware side, Amazon, Tesla.
Yes.
This model you do not find replicated in Germany or in the Japan or in the Asian societies, because Asian societies typically prefer a certain amount of security and safety in their jobs, so they are not willing to risk it all.
Yes.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
said, Asian societies, Korea, Japan, Germany, European societies, Germany, France, they have high quality products, but they don't dominate the world in the software innovation field.
Yeah. I think that the main reason behind that is because the young entrepreneurs in America have a very high scope of development, and if they take risks and properly follow through a process or make a proper plan and go through with it, I think there is a high chance of success compared to these other countries. And there was a very big startup culture and entrepreneur culture, the internet bubble, and all of these startups emerged from them. And I think that that's why Americans technology, American software is dominating the world right now, because of certain a few number of people took risks and faced challenges and tried to make the world a better place. So
Yeah. So Aditya, they didn't want to make the world a better place. They wanted to become billionaires. That's
yes,
what drives them. It's not socialistic, altruistic motives. They all wanted to change the world and become extremely rich by doing it.
yes,
And also a word of caution. If you see 10,000 entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley, 9,990 would fail.
yes,
And this failure rate is what European and Asian societies do not like. And so they keep on a more traditional path. In the US, they do not bother about it. So that's one key cultural difference. The second difference is the society has produced venture capitalists.
yes,
Venture capitalists are guys who can lead these entrepreneurs. They pump in money, and at the same time, if they feel it's not leading to any success, they have no scruples in killing that project.
yes.
Yeah. In most other countries, in Germany, etc., uh, social pressure does not allow you to fire someone overnight.
Yeah,
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 we follow due process, etc. So the amount of risk taking that companies do in Asia and Europe is much, much lower than the amount of risk taking, especially when the company is led by venture capitalists. So those are the two major differences. And ultimately, if you say your startup failed 5 times in the USA, no one cares. In Germany, people do care and say, boy, this guy is not successful.
yes. Yes, this is mostly this is because people tend to, because the companies in Asia are predominantly conglomerates which have been standing for 100 and 200 years, and they take wise risks, but they don't delve into that, and they follow the process that they have refined over those years, and to keep their play on the safe side. So
Yeah,
moving
that's
on,
true.
yeah,
So let me add one more thing. If you reflect on what are the software systems that dominate the world, yeah, 95% are from the US. And I know of only one software system that dominates the world that comes from Germany. It is SAP. SAP is a company that develops back-end administrative software, and all companies all over the world. It's like the Windows in the administrative world. So your flight booking system, your accounting system for travel, your payroll system, the entire world, including here at my universities, is based on SAP. That's a company in Mannheim. And why were the Germans successful with that? Because in administrative systems, especially financial systems, you need a high level of process control, transparency, and accuracy. You can't just say, okay, it didn't work, tomorrow I'll send a bug fix.
yes.
Yeah, and that's why probably the Germans were so successful. So SAP is the Windows in the administrative and financial worlds, and that's
That
the only NEC I see there.
That's really interesting. I did not know about this. It's great to see. So moving on, what principles have guided you in your decision making across your career in your life?
So primarily, Aditya, for me, I had a very collaborative leadership skill, And so before I made a decision, I made sure that I had talked to everyone who had a stake in it and who had knowledge in it. That said, I was not a guy for PowerPoint. So all my meetings took place at the place of the engineers where they could show me their design drawings, their CAD work, or their simulations, or in the prototype workshops. So really be at the point where the action is and not in my office and not in my meeting room. There's a there's a unspoken cultural issue here in all cultures. If people come to the boss's office and they have to present, they are a bit on their defensive. If
Yeah.
you go to their workplace, they they expand. They have no. They are proud of their work. They are open to discuss with you. They are open to challenge you. But no employee is going to challenge you in your office. So
Yeah.
that has always been my credo. Always no meetings in my office, always meetings at the engineer's desk or at the real product in the prototype workshops. And it's
Yes.
the same principle I follow here at the University of Alabama.
Yeah, discussing in their own habitat, making them comfortable, and so that they can deliver their best and drive and their passion. It shows at the place they work, and I think that is a really interesting perspective you have.
Yeah.
Move on.
And there's another thought to it which I want to add, Aditya.
Yes.
That is, we often, the higher we go, we try to push away making harsh or difficult decisions. The
Yes.
most difficult decision for an engineer is you tell him that project is not feasible, you want to stop it, and if you put it even more harshly, you would say you want to kill it. Generally, many people, many bosses, leaders do not want to do that. And that is one thing you have to learn to do. Otherwise, you're not going to be successful. There is various ways of saying it. Sometimes, these financial consultants will tell you stop the bleeding, cut it off, etc. And this is something we can all learn from the venture capitalists. They do it in perfection. They know when to stop the bleeding in some venture that they have invested in.
Yes.
Traditional companies are very, very hesitant to do that. And so you keep bleeding money and you push more money into ventures that are not really feasible and lead to an end result. So that is also something which I would tell everyone, have the courage to stop projects if you think it's not going to lead to something. And there are various ways of doing it. There's the Muskian way where he'll write you a note and tell you you're fired. Or there are other ways where you explain to your engineer why you think this is not going to lead to success and stop the project.
Yes. I think capitalists do not face such problems because they are emotionally detached from the projects. They just have their money in there, and they view from a logical standpoint. They say that this is the decision you need to take for your company to grow, or you have to stop this. And I think
Absolutely.
that comes into play. And in traditional companies, in large companies, people have their own reputation that I started this project. Emotional value and emotional sentiments come into play, and this becomes a bigger problem because they think about themselves, not the direction of the company. So I have
Absolutely.
yeah, I have not worked in companies, but this is just my viewpoint from outside.
Yeah, yeah. So this viewpoint, Aditya, is very true in American company cultures versus German company cultures, and especially the differences glaring between venture capitalists and traditional companies.
Yeah. Sir, how do you define innovation in life and technology?
I think for me, it's just developing a cool idea that is feasible, that adds value to everyone's lives, and that also makes a profit for your company.
Yes, that's interesting. Can you tell us how your Indian roots, specifically how your childhood and your studying in IIT Bombay, help you succeed globally?
I think the Indian schooling system built by the British is one of the best, especially the schools run by the Jesuits, etc., like St. Xavier's, Don Bosco, etc. And we are, as a society, are very fortunate that these Catholic-run schools have tremendously motivated teachers who all influenced me very positively with how much passion they taught. At IIT, it was different. IIT was tremendously competitive to get in. And so the students who got in at that time, they were really top of the pops, all of us. And this competition was what kept us all at an extremely high level of engineering, of learning new things, of discussing, debating, etc. And that's why a lot of IITians rose up the ranks and took on very, very senior positions in the entire world. Yeah.
Yes.
As an example, my batch of 1973, Raju Bhinge, he became a board member at Tata. Yeah.
Yes.
Then Amit Goradia, my classmate, he's a very big industrialist in Vadodara. I went to Germany, became a VP of research and advanced engineering. So a lot of us have risen up the ranks. So IIT certainly influenced me in a very, very positive manner.
Yes.
And
I
we always thought IIT Bombay is the top of the then 5 IITs. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Yes, I'm personally preparing for JE right now. I'm in 12th grade. I'm not sure if you know, but I think this is the competition that these exams provide and the environment created by the IITs provide is like a cheat code in the real world. When you learn to work hard and deliver your best, I think nothing can stop you from reaching the top of the world. And if you keep it successfully in every avenue of life, not just career related, I think you will also experience a very successful and a very happy life, which is very important for many people.
Yeah.
So
So Aditya, then the other question that you asked, not only IITians are successful, but most Indians who come to the US are also highly successful.
yes,
I think without going into any statistics, the average income of the Indians in the US is probably the highest, far beyond the second highest average of another community.
yes,
And
you're
there is a,
absolutely correct. I think I've seen
yeah,
the data, and India is above the competition. This is not a
yeah, yeah,
competition,
yeah,
but it is far above its peers in from the immigrant groups. India is
yes.
the highest.
And also among the Americans themselves. So the point is, you need to ask, why are Indians so successful, especially as they move up the ranks? And you see it here only. This is the only country where you see Indians at absolute top positions. Satya Nadella leading Microsoft. Sundar Pichai, IIT Kharagpur graduate heading Google, Waymo, and Alphabet.
Yes.
Raj Subramanian heading FedEx. And also in the American government system, the number of Indians that you see is also mind boggling. You know, first you have the Americans in the federal administration, and the next group that comes are Indians, Americans of Indian origin.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's very interesting. So obviously, Indians have a leadership style which makes them very successful in the American society, probably in the entire world, but most Indians just come to the US because it's easy, it's the promised land, and there's no language difficulty. So if you look at me, I was the only guy in the 73 batch that went to Germany because of the language hurdles. And it's the same with France or Italy, etc. These countries lose out a lot because Indians are not willing to go there because of the language hurdle. So
Yeah.
you do not see Indians at high levels in these countries. But here in the US, After Americans, again, there, Indians are the ones who are the highest level. And there was a very interesting thing I saw. The Congress interviewed, I think, three top people from Google regarding AI, etc. The first guy was an Indian, the second guy was an Indian, the third guy was an Indian of Indian origin. Yeah. So obviously, we have leadership skills which help us, together with our knowledge and our work ethic, to rise above the ranks.
There are some reasons I think we see this in foreign countries, especially America, because first of all, out of 1.4 billion people, only the top 1% or not even the 1% go to America. So obviously our talent, some of our talent, the top percentage, the cream of our crop goes there. And secondly, the mindset inculcated by the education system, by our families, and by our culture, and the fact that we are a developing country makes us above the competition in America, because they are complacent and they are enjoying their life. Because I think America is a developed country, and the people that are born there from American origin are relaxed, and they don't have to stress that the Indian community has. Everybody in my environment, every child is focused on getting a job. The exams, UPSC, and all of these exams that are on a rise in India are because people want to achieve something in their life and earn for their family. And I think that mindset just makes us above the competition there.
Yeah, so Aditya, I would just caution you in saying that the American society is complacent.
No, no,
Uh,
no.
that is not a right
Not-
attitude.
Yeah.
I think you have to put the American society is what it is. They have grown up here, and their habits, their thinking is formed by what they experience in their country.
Yes.
Yeah, and it is the same for us, China and Korea. No, the only big difference is in these three countries, China, Korea, Japan, also Germany. No, sorry, not Germany, India. We have a tremendously competitive environment.
Yes.
And to survive in that environment, you have to work your ass off. And if you're also born with a certain amount of smartness and talent, that coupled with hard work makes us rise above the normal world population.
Yes.
And that is very fortunate for us. And that's probably the reason why Indians are so successful in the US, as also Chinese immigrants. Chinese immigrants who come to the US, they're also very tremendously successful. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Japanese and Koreans do not make such a trip to the US because I think they're too insular in their cultural habits and prefer to stay in their home countries and make their careers there. But you're absolutely true. The top 1% or half percent of India and China all try to go to the US. And over a period of years, many of them break through the top levels and become CEOs, CTOs of large companies.
Yes. So I think the mindset that is inculcated here due to the competition, as you said, is absolutely correct. Is the key major standpoint in which influences the people's success in America, Indian immigrant success in America. So moving on, could you explain the future of connected vehicles to our young viewers, the viewers that are watching? Thank you.
Yeah, so the three main trends that we have today: connected, automated, and electric vehicles. I think electric vehicles, everyone knows now the challenges, everyone knows about Tesla, a lot of electric cars coming into the market, including in India from Tatas, Mahindras, etc. The other extreme now is the automated technology, and automation requires connectivity because of one thing. You can develop an automation system for fair weather conditions where there are no accidents on the road, there's no flooding on the road, no diversions on the road, etc.
Yes.
So if you need high levels of automation, especially level 5, you need to have connectivity where you can inform upfront the vehicle to changes in the road traffic conditions. This can be, for example, ice on the road up front, or it can be a traffic jam up front, or a road diversion, or an accident. So connectivity, we call it cellular V2X. There are two technologies, DSRC, dedicated short range communication, 5.9 gigahertz, or a cellular V2X communication that is built up more on what we have with conventional 5G technologies, but without the latencies that we have there. So these CV2X technology, it allows cars to talk to each other, and it allows cars to talk to an infrastructure. So you send messages to other vehicles regarding road conditions, weather conditions, whatever, and it is localized information. So if you're driving in Chembur, you only get the information of Chembur and not at Ghatkopar or at Churchgate. It is
Yeah.
very localized and it pertains to your local conditions, so within a radius of 1 to 2 kilometers. And there you also communicate with the roadside infrastructure. And with that, you build up a daisy chain of information, which is absolutely necessary if you're doing self-driving cars. Now, I
Yes.
know in India, self-driving cars are not going to come early, but here in the United States and Germany, there's a lot of potential for it. And my feeling is, unless you have CV2X communications, you're not going to be able to manage robocars or high levels of self-driving because the vehicles are not informed about changing road conditions and traffic conditions upfront.
Yes. Has this technology been adapted anywhere, to your knowledge?
Yeah, there are a lot of experiments here in Tuscaloosa. We have all the intersections connected with DSRC, and we have multiple projects where we are using this CV2X technology to interface with the traffic light signals. And there's a message called SPAT, SPAT, signal phasing and timing, which is exchanged between the vehicle and the signal head. And with that, the signal head will tell you what is the phase of the signal when you're approaching it. And it'll also advise you on your dashboard whether to continue at that speed or slow down or to speed up within the speed limit to safely cross that traffic crossing.
Okay.
And the SPAT messaging can also influence the signal phasing for heavy traffic coming from one side, or even more important, for traffic which is carrying a lot of buses and passengers, give it more right of way and signal a green phase to facilitate more movement and efficient movement of passengers. So these are the simple applications. There are more complex applications. If you have an automated vehicle and you are merging onto a highway, in India, you can imagine when you merge onto a highway, everyone is fighting to get into the highway, and the
Yes.
guys who are already on the highway don't want to give you any place. If you have a self-driving vehicle, it's not going to take off and enter the highway. It'll just keep waiting
Right.
forever. Yeah.
Yes.
So you have to develop technology with CV2X where the vehicles talk to each other and in a way that you have a zipper, they alternate between one vehicle on the highway, the other vehicle merging, then another vehicle on the highway, the third vehicle merging, etc. These are cool applications that you can generate with CV2X, which will facilitate the efficient usage of automated technology when you introduce them into real world traffic.
Hearing about this from you makes me very excited for some reason. And I'm just feeling like a child. I'm listening to you about this cool technology. And I think this will be implemented in the first world countries, at least in the next 10 years. IoT, Internet of Things, is going to be the one of the futures that we are going
Yeah.
into. And I'm just excited to see it because I'm young, so I have a lot of time to experience this and to work on this. So why do you think India has no big automotive company on the level that Mercedes is? Even now, I don't think any company from India is working on that level, competing with the rest of the world for success in this field. Why do you think this is? Is this a cultural problem or something else?
Yeah, it is a cultural problem. If you look at the last 30 years, in the difference between the technology raised China to India, the Chinese society, we can say what we want about the Chinese government and their way of governing as against a democracy in India. But what the Chinese have is a high level of discipline.
Yes.
So whatever the government authorities say, that's the way the entire society moves. And it's incredible what they have achieved. If you look at the high-speed railway lines, 20 years ago, China had nothing. Today, high-speed rail in China, and I've experienced it multiple times, their mileage is more than all the rest of the countries put together.
I think
Germany,
the
yeah,
reason behind this is because they are not a democracy and they don't have to pass a bill through the legislative and then that goes through the process. In India, such a process might take years, but in China,
look. No, no, that is only part of the problem, Aditya. That is part of the problem. Uh, there are also many countries which are not democracies.
yes,
Example, Russia, Iran, Korea. But they have not managed the same level of success as China.
yes,
So there is obviously there are countries which are autocratic who have not managed this success in industrial revolution. China has managed it. There are other democracies like India, like Germany, like the US, which have managed some things, but if you take it on the area of infrastructure, none has come close to China in highway buildings, all transportation technologies, highways, roadways, high-speed network, rail network, airports,
yes,
connection to airports, etc. None of the other countries. So for me, the big difference between India and China is the Indian workforce does not have the discipline that the Chinese workforce has. You
yes.
can say, yeah, that's because of their communistic system. That is probably true. And that is in India because of our liberal democracy, where everyone has a right to say and do and not do what is expected of them.
Yes. So, can you tell us about one of many of your breakthroughs in your career, which you are most proud of?
I think the biggest innovation I'm proud of is called magic body control. And if you want to Google it, you have to go into car and driver magic body control Bharat Balasubramanian. There's a very nice article on that. What this innovation does is through stereo cameras, which we developed for automated driving and lane keeping, these cameras detect the road profile, the unevenness of the road profile, even at speeds up to 130 kilometers per hour, and with a very fine resolution of about 2 to 3 millimeters, and automatically feed it back to our active suspension, which raises or lowers the vehicle so that the car runs over the bumps smoothly. Now, I can show you a video of this. I have prepared of our research car that we did, I think about 15 or no more than that, about 16 years ago.
Yes.
And can I open
Yes.
are you allowing me to share screen?
Yes. I have allowed you.
Okay, so let me go into share and then with share sound. So I'm going to open this video now. So this car has this magic body control that time with laser scanners. And you see when the wheel goes over the bumps, it automatically lifts and keeps it on a level track. And this is a research vehicle. It's the size of a C-class platform. Keeps the vehicle
Very,
absolutely
very.
steady. And in the final shot, in the lower one is the normal C-class. And you see how the body vibrates and springs about.
Yes. Okay, so it maintains the stability of the car in the rough.
The
Yes.
comfort of the. So I'll stop it here and stop the screen share. Okay.
That is really fascinating.
So you can read about that article once again. Go into car and driver, type magic body control, Bharat Balasubramanian.
Yes, I'll check it out.
Yeah, you can post it to your guys also.
Yeah, I'll put it in the link in the description of the video, so my viewers can also check it out and see the work you have done.
Yeah.
Okay. So moving on, what is the thing that excites you the most about automated driving technology, and what do you think the future will be?
I think the biggest advantage for automotive driving is the safety that it takes out of driving. It brings into driving, especially when you're driving in traffic jams or highly congested zones. Uh, the way we set it up today at level 2 and level 2 plus plus, it augments your driving skills and keeps you safe by taking control of the car when you get into dangerous situations, etc. The the second cool thing about automated driving is basically once you come to level 3, the the you can watch movies, etc. But before I go into that, let me just explain the levels of automated driving. Level 0, all senses on. Level 1, your feet are off the pedals. So the control of the brake and the throttle is taken care of by the system. That's what we call adaptive cruise control.
Okay.
Level 2, you add lane keeping to it. So your hands can be off the steering and the vehicle keeps the speed, slows down, speeds up to the maximum speed you set, and keeps lane. Level 3 is where it gets disruptive, eyes off the road. At level 3, the vehicle has such a high level of automation that not theoretically, in reality, switch off your looking at the road ahead. You can work on your computer, you can watch a movie, you can read a book. What you cannot do is sleep or go away from the driver's seat. So level 3 is what is going to bring disruption to the market. Level 4 is brain off. At brain off, you can go and sleep in the back seat. And the way level 4 will be set up is that in case the car, or let me go to level 3, in case the car encounters an ambiguous situation, like a roadblock or a traffic accident, where the system cannot interpret the situation correctly, at level 3, it hands over control to you and you drive the vehicle after that. At level 4, the car will automatically find safe harbor, stop somewhere at the side of the road, and wait for you to wake up, and then take charge of the vehicle. Level 5 is robocall, so that's body out. So body out is the robocar where the car comes by itself, picks you up, drives you around, and goes back. So if you look at it, Silicon Valley companies are targeting level 4, level 5. So
Yes.
Google Waymo already has level 5 cars operating in certain cities in the United States in a closed operational design domain within the city. And it's all pretty fantastic and mind-boggling. But these are not vehicles you can purchase. They are run by Waymo.
And they are
The
of
other extremes, the traditional automotive companies, there's only one car you can buy today. That's a Mercedes S-Class with level 3. It's certified for level 3 in Germany and in the United States, in California, and I think Nevada. Why
okay.
only in certain states and countries? Because you need high fidelity three-dimensional mapping. And
Okay.
that is a slow process, just like Google Maps took over 25 years to map everything, every city, every road. It's going to be the same with high definition mapping. It's a slow process. Right now, you can have only high definition mapping of certain interstates in the USA and certain autobahns in Germany. But that is the only car you, as a customer, can purchase and drive on the roads at level 3.
Yes. I don't think this technology is going to come to India in a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Because
And there again, Aditya, that's again one of the things. Someone asked me at IIT when I did the Pan IIT meet where your mother met me, what's in it for India? Because of India's chaotic traffic conditions, countries like China, USA, Germany will take over on this aspect and make their transportation extremely efficient.
yes.
So in April this year, a company called Aurora, it retrofits Volvo trucks with self-driving level 5 technology, robo trucks, which
Okay.
run many hundreds of miles. So one of their routes is from Dallas to Houston, completely automated. So
Yes.
what they try to do is keep the truck on the interstate and have a hub which near the interstate where the truck automatically in a safe mode enters the highway, then traverses the interstate all the way until its exit point, and then stops at a nearby hub near the exit point. So your city scenarios where you have cross traffic, traffic lights, etc., are minimal.
Okay.
And primarily 95% of the road is in interstates. And the big advantage of interstates is there's no pedestrians, no bicyclists, no cross traffic, no traffic lights, and the speed differentials are low. So maximum speed 75 miles per hour, minimum speed 40 miles per hour.
Yes.
And that's the safest environment and one way divided highways.
Yes.
And this will start, and that will lead to tremendous efficiencies. Because once you start doing that, you can run a truck from Chicago to Houston in about a 36 to 48-hour trip without bothering about a human operator. And the same will happen in China. It will happen much later in Europe. But the way Indian traffic conditions are set up, we in India would need to find some other cool solution. Otherwise, we will lose on these efficiencies of transportation of goods and people.
Yes. I think this is going to be a very big challenge in India due to the unpredictability of the terrain and the lack of responsibility taken in maintaining the environment. So I think it will happen for sure in the next 30 to 40 years, but it will take a while and it will be a very slow and arduous process.
Yeah,
So
so Aditya, I am very surprised every time I come to India. Even on highways, which are divided highways, you see opposing traffic coming there
yes.
because people don't want to wait until the next exit, they just want to come back. And it's all incredible. If you have these things, a self driving vehicle will at once stop on its tracks.
This is one of the biggest problems in India that there is no driver education system here. There is a system, but people generally ignore it and just buy their
Yeah,
license.
you need to put the word discipline. There's
Yes,
a total lack of discipline amongst larger parts of the population.
yes,
And until we install this discipline, we are not going to reap the fruits of these technologies.
yes. And I think it will take a while, but people will get disciplined. The generation is changing, and the people that are coming up these days are going to be fine individuals that are going to face like that are going to reform our country. but it is going to take a while. Uh,
It's a long haul. Yes.
yes. So moving on, can you tell us about your collaboration with Tesla and Elon Musk?
No, in 2000, I became a VP, the first non-German VP at Mercedes in R&D in 1997 in Mercedes-Benz passenger cars. It's a tremendously powerful job. And in 2006, I was additionally became a VP of the Daimler Group Research. Now, research is even more advanced before conventional design and development. Conventional design and development, we start about 5 years before the car is launched into the market. So about 60 months of design and development work. With research, you start about 10 years in advance.
Yes.
Yeah. And hand over sometime these technologies to design and development. So I became the head of group research advanced engineering worldwide. And I also had the responsibility for all the R&D organizations outside in Beijing, in India, Bangalore and Pune, and in USA, that time Palo Alto, today Sunnyvale, etc. I had a clear vision of the three most important technologies: connected vehicles, automated vehicles, and self-driving vehicles. And with these all three technologies, I found that we in Germany were not progressive enough, and that is pertaining to our discussion earlier with venture capitalists and Silicon Valley companies. So I went to Silicon Valley and talked to all the top guys and tried to collaborate with them. Uh, Let me just pull up while we are talking one of the pictures that I had shown yesterday in a talk, and this would be very interesting to you also in what I'm trying to tell you
For sure.
just now. So I'm just pulling up that. Okay, let me put full screen. And let me go into Zoom, then share screen. So can you see my picture here?
Right now, I can't.
The PowerPoint slide.
I can't.
I just shared it.
I think it will take a second to get. I don't think you have done it correctly because I can't see it.
Okay, let me do. No. Okay, cancel. Let me do one thing. Once again, share screen. See
I
whether
got.
this works.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let me make it full screen, but it doesn't allow full screen. Okay. So what you see in this picture, this was during that time, 2006, where I set up collaborations with Silicon Valley giants. And that's the time, let me go up a bit, where I worked with Elon Musk. And these are pictures from 2006 to 2009 on electric cars. What you see here is the original Tesla. I used to meet him every 6 months, have dinner with him. And it's all pretty incredible, but that's another story. And the first Mercedes smart car had the Tesla battery pack, as also the first Mercedes B class had the Tesla battery pack. Yeah, that was battery electric vehicles. Then on connectivity, we tried to collaborate with Apple. So this guy is Tony Fadell. He was Steve Jobs' CTO, the right-hand man of CTO, and he's the guy who developed the smartphone and killed all other traditional phone companies, cell phone companies like Nokia, Ericsson, Motorola, Sony, etc. Totally brilliant guy. We wanted to have smartphone integration in the vehicle. They were not willing to do it at that time. So he gave me a software development kit where we developed the integration of the smartphone into Mercedes vehicles. And my S Class here, my old S Class still has that integration kit. And later on, Apple developed the Apple CarPlay. That's what you have as an interface in many cars today. This
Yes.
guy on the right is Eric Schmidt from Google. He was for many, many years chairman and CEO of Google.
Yes.
Yeah, the most powerful man. And we tried a collaboration on self-driving cars with Google somewhere around 2009, but ultimately Google pulled out. They had their own ideas. We were wanting to go from level 2 to 3. Google wanted to go straight to level 5. So they went on their own path and we went on their own path. So coming back to your question, Aditya, this was probably the most momentous decision I took in 2006, 2007 to force Mercedes-Benz to collaborate with Silicon Valley giants. Of all the three collaborations, this was the most productive for us. And
Okay.
Elon Musk and I became close friends. He was a totally different personality then. So I need to make a disclaimer here. It is
Yes.
not Elon Musk of today. Yeah.
Yes.
The total genius in whatever he did. And that collaboration was very fruitful for us. So I'll stop the screen share.
Yes. That's really interesting. You've met such personalities, and I think collaborating with them and bringing innovation into Mercedes as well. I think that has been a very big play in your life and the biggest contribution you have done. So, moving on, can you tell us about what role failure has played in your life? Because failure is one of the biggest teachers, at least
Yeah,
according.
so in all our lives, Aditya, we'll have failures or setbacks or tension. Now, even at the age of 73.5, where I finished 51 years of service, on April 21st this year, I'll finish 51 years. You still have setbacks, you still have problems, failures, so no one is immune to it. I think what I've learned is, and that is probably part of Indian philosophy, to take things in a more relaxed fashion, saying today the world may look bad, but tomorrow the sun will shine again.
Yes.
And anything that turns out bad today might open new opportunities tomorrow. Now, that might be a lot of wisdom in saying this, but you'll certainly go through some suffering, regardless of your age. And this includes me, also at the age beyond 73. One would think, boy, you're not going to have any more stress or setbacks and all that. You're working in a world where other people are there, other people have their ambitions, they have different working styles, etc. Conflicts arise. People are sometimes not fair the way you expect fairness. So you have to address these challenges, always take a step back, sleep over it many nights before taking action. And ultimately, looking back on your career, almost everyone will find that the crisis they encountered was not as bad as they initially feared. And they got out of the crisis and they're doing reasonably well. Sometimes they're doing better than what they thought. If the crisis had not stuck, they would have been stuck in some older workplace. And through the crisis, they moved on and up.
I think,
So, in the shortest form, just take a step back, sleep over it a couple of nights, and then find a way forward. And Indians are good in one thing, they say it's part of karma and destiny. So accept your destiny,
and move on.
but then move on, change your destiny after that. What
Yes.
has happened cannot be made undone.
Yes, but the future can be changed and is still in our
Yeah,
palms. So we should
yeah.
change ourselves. I think this is really interesting, and that's a good opinion you have, and I think I'll learn from it, and I'll keep this with me. Moving on. For the young children, the young youth watching this interview, what opportunities do you think young youth should have in the global automotive industry going on in India as well as globally?
Aditya, I wouldn't pose the question that way. I would pose the question, what should you do to be
Yes.
successful and happy in their lives? Because
Yes.
ultimately, we're all searching for happiness
Yes.
and we're also searching for success in whatever we do. So, my advice to you is not automotive industry or aeronautics or the chemical industry. It is to everyone, find your passion, find what interests you, work hard towards that passion, and don't give up easily. Yeah. And this is a universal truth. Well, if you don't know your passion, especially if you're young, and that's what I tell my students, work on something and see if it suits you. And if it doesn't, go into something else until you find your passion, you find your calling. And of course, anything that you do, you have to work hard. There are no freebies in life.
Yes. This is
And there will be accept, setbacks will also be part of your life.
yes. I also personally try to live by this. I try everything because given my young age, I have a lot of time. I have a lot of free space in my head to think about things, and I try everything.
Yeah.
This YouTube channel I started a while back is one of these experiments which I liked and I continued. So I'll keep trying different things until I find my calling. And I don't think I'll
Yeah.
find a single one because there's a lot of interesting things going on, and I can't just keep my head focused
Yeah,
on.
yeah. One day, Aditya, you'll find your calling, or you'll narrow it down to areas because ultimately you want success and a certain standard of living.
Yes.
So, society will force you and you yourself, you have to earn a certain amount of money for your upkeep. And that is also the other side that I tell my young students, eh, you can, if you say my calling is to go to South Spain and become a singer on the streets, that cannot be your calling because that's not going ultimately to lead you to any stable form of life. That
Yes.
can be your hobby. Your calling has to be something which leads to a reasonable success in maintaining some standard of living for you, your future family, and your future children.
Yes, I think even if you make it your calling, it slowly becomes a chore more than a hobby because when you don't get the paychecks, when you don't get your standard of living, when you can't fulfill the dreams of other people that are joined with you, which stay with you, I think that thing automatically becomes something that you don't like. So I personally say don't make your hobbies your work because then you will hate your hobbies and then you will find nothing that makes you happy in life.
I won't subscribe to that because the automotive engineering was part of my hobby, and it has remained my hobby here. So let me put it: I was fortunate to have work and hobby be in the same place, and
Yes.
as long as you have success in your work, it really doesn't matter whether you started it out as a hobby or you started it out as a calling or whatever, or as a normal professional job. If
Yes.
you look at guys like Steve Jobs, then the founder of Microsoft and all, they started it off as a hobby. It became a passion, then it became their work, and they were all reasonably happy.
Yes. It depends if you can achieve success or not. So even if you
Yeah,
become a
success is a key word. Yeah,
yes,
success is a big key word, and not success. 1 year and next year failure. You want to have some sort of consistency in your success.
yes. Even if you became a singer in Spain, there is no issue if you become a very famous singer or achieve worldwide fame. Nobody will question you. In fact, people will ask you how you did this or ask for advice. So it should be that you achieve success and happiness, even if you're on the road or even if you're on the concert or you're running concerts. You should be happy. End of discussion. So moving on, can you give one advice for the youth watching this video to be happy in life?
My advice: find what interests you, what fires your passion, follow it, don't give up easily.
Yes, I think that is a great advice because a lot of people I know around me give up very easily. Just one attempt and they give up. So I think that is really interesting. Moreover, one thing has stuck in my mind. You're only 73. I
Yes.
thought you were younger. It just baffles me because my grandfather is also around your age and he does not look that young. He might be
No, no,
watching
no. You
the
shouldn't be
interview.
saying such things on YouTube videos.
He might be watching the interview right now, but
Just leave it at the positive point. Don't compare with other people.
yes.
Yes, I have a lot of energy, and that's part of the reason I'm still continuing to work. It's the work is very interesting. My team is very successful. I mentor a lot of faculty, as also some students, but primarily faculty, and it has been hugely successful. As I said earlier, I came for 3 years, and now I am on to my 13th year.
Okay. So now I'm going to begin a new type of question asking.
Aditya, our time is running out. Huh? We are at 10:20 here.
Yeah.
Another 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So wrap it up, please.
Now I also realize this, so I'm just going to do a rapid fire round. I'm going to ask
Yeah.
a couple of questions I made, and you just answer them in one or two words. So let's begin. Three, two, one. So, electric or hydrogen cars?
Electric.
Next big automotive breakthrough.
Self-driving cars.
Flying cars when?
Never.
Biggest challenge in the autonomous driving industry.
Safety.
What is the future of Indian automotive industry?
Just plain satisfactory.
Most important skill you think future engineers should have?
Passion.
What is your success mantra in three words?
Go for it.
What is your biggest learning from failure?
Stand up. Tomorrow will be a better day.
Favorite Mercedes innovation?
Magic body control.
What is your most memorable meeting with Elon Musk?
When he flew to visit me from LA to Stuttgart and flew his own plane and spent 2 days with me.
India or Germany or USA?
Probably Germany, not India.
Morning routine.
Get up early. And
Best
no, the IIT routine, we called it triple S. Shit, save, shower.
best life advice you've ever received.
That's a difficult one. Let me pass on that. Let me pass on that.
One
I
habit
can't.
that one habit
Yes,
that changed your life.
getting up early.
Secret to work-life balance.
Enjoy what you do.
Books or hands-on experience.
Always hands on.
Best stress management tip.
Go for a walk in the woods.
Message to young innovators.
Don't give up.
Okay, so that concludes the round. I have only two more questions left, which are just small ones. So please bear with it. Please advise any two books that you would like to, that you believe everybody should read.
I'm not much of a reader, but the book I would advise everyone to read is one It was written by someone. It's called The Machine That Changed the World.
I can't
And it
see
was a
it properly in the.
it's called The Machine That Changed the World.
Okay. Okay. So,
And it's a book about how Lexus in the early 90s, or how Toyota introduced the Lexus brand, and why the Lexus brand was tremendously successful, breaking through the monopoly of the German brands Mercedes and BMW and Cadillac.
okay. So please advise two people that you would like to see on the show that you know.
Aditya, I think let me put my IIT colleagues in the front row.
Okay.
One is Rajiv Binge, my batchmate, who became a board member at Tata Industries. And the other is my close friend, Amit Goradia, has become an extremely successful industrialist in Vadodara. I sent you a video of him where I delivered him a Maybach from Tuscaloosa.
Okay.
He's a very good guy. How to be successful in a small scale industry in India, and Raju Binge, how to be very successful in a large industrial conglomerate like Tata's.
Okay. Lastly, sir, I hope you enjoyed this show. Please advise
Thank you.
one unique thing you have liked about Aditya Talks and any suggestions that we should incorporate to
No,
improve
no,
the experience for
this
our
was a
listeners.
fine show. This was a fine show. I think I don't want to say anything negative about it. You have prepared yourself well. The questions were very relevant. Thank you. I enjoyed talking to you.
I'm very young and I'm just trying my hands in this space. And I think I do it for my personal satisfaction the most because I learned a lot from you. And please excuse anything that I did was wrong. And lastly, thank you, my viewers, for watching. I'll see you next week.